Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's working.
Hi.
Action. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, action. Bye.
Welcome to Two Non-Yarn Snobs. It's me, Sabrena. No, Anna. We're still socially distancing. But maybe soon. We'll see. This is
be on there.
not this time, honey. Maybe next time.
Trying to help.
This is episode 25 of Two Non-Yarn Snobs. Welcome. If you're new, I'm so happy to have you here. If you're a returning viewer, that makes me even more happy. The cat got in here again, so we'll see how that goes. What have I done this week? I had the weekend off. It's Sunday morning. It rained yesterday on my day off. Of course it did. It's really cloudy and overcast and cold today. We had planned to go to Mount Magazine and drive up the mountain, but it's always colder there than it is here because it's a higher elevation, and I just don't know if that's going to happen, but maybe. We'll see. So what did I do this week? I continued on with my little potholder loom, and I made this yellow and white one, and I made another red, white, and blue one. We're going to use these as coasters in the living room. Now we have two. And then I did what? I made potholder out of what? I cut up two pairs of socks, or two socks, not two pair, just two socks that were old and really didn't need to be used as socks anymore. And it shrunk up a little bit. It's a little bit smaller. And it's a little wonky in places, like I just cut, But I think that's awesome. So these cost me on average 43 cents a piece. And this one costs me nothing. I will use this in my kitchen. I'm not going to give it to anyone for Christmas. I just wanted to see if I could do that. And it did work. And I'm happy about it. So today's the last day of January. January was tough. The cat. January was a tough month for me. I think I had great hopes of 2021 being better, and that the change in my head, I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I thought, well, maybe with the change in the year, like the world would heal itself, and maybe it is. It's just going to take more time, right? Of course. So I'm kind of glad that January is over and that February 1st is tomorrow. But in that, I decided this year I would save all my yarn labels. And for January, I added up all the yardage, and these are completely finished balls. There's no scraps. I used 3,873 yards of yarn. Who would have ever figured? Not me. I was kind of blown away. And I am keeping them in this box that my mother got me. She got me a whole bunch of them before she'd passed, and I used them in the grooming shop to put different things in. Well, I don't use them like that anymore, and I brought this one home, and it's holding my yarn labels. And it says, "You are treasured, loved beyond measure," and has a little measuring tape. So it's really a nice little reminder that my mom loved me and she thought about me. So I thought I'd share that today. So what else did I work on this week? I told you last week that I wasn't going to start anything new. I was going to work on my whips in progress, or things that I had going on. And that's what I did. I did play with my little circular knitting machine, and I have some hats to show you. And that's about all the finished things that I have. But we'll get into that. I made one more bath poof, or finished it. It was started. And this is 2 different colors of green. The inside is a little darker and the outside's a little lighter. I have tried these out and I'm not a huge fan. I thought they were really awesome and make cute little Christmas gifts with, you know, like some handmade soap. So they do dry. The acrylic dries overnight, which is nice. They don't lather with your soap. I don't know why, but so I have one more done, and it'll probably be the last one I do, because to me, and they get super heavy in the shower, really, really heavy. So I just don't think that's a viable option. I have a few made. We'll use them here in the house. Still not a huge fan. So that's that. And then I played with my little circular knitting machine. And this is Lion Brand Mandala. I have one end to tuck in. It's fine. And this is the color Valkyrie. And I think it turned out pretty nice. I like it. And this is the second one out of Valkyrie. And I might be able to get a third out of that skeiny yarn. I haven't used it all yet, so I don't know for sure. This is the Yarn Bee Fair Isle, and the color is Navy Lime Multi. And I know I can get another one out of it. And I think that'd be a nice man's hat. Or woman's. It's pretty. I like it. This one is the Lion Brand Mandala in the color Pixie. And this one is, I love this yarn, Sport Weight Neon. And the color is Pink Neon. And it is bright. And it's the same on both sides. So just some tube hats. I spent one evening and I sat down and did those one evening. And this one, the yarn cost me 57 cents, and I did use the whole skein of yarn. They're a smaller skein. I'm sure I paid full price for the mandalas. I don't remember. There was no clearance stickers on them. I don't remember what they cost new. Probably somewhere in the $5 neighborhood. But if you get 3 hats for $5, that's not too bad. So let me set this stuff off. No, that's fine. Okay, so what else have I been working on? Okay, so now we're up to works in progress. See this big basket? I had these done year and a half ago. These granny squares. I had 60 of them done. And this is Red Heart Woodsy and coffee. Red Heart Coffee. And I was making these squares, and this one has Woodsy in the middle, and then this green, and then coffee. That is some steaming hot coffee there.
I keep being on TV, so I literally get to be on TV.
Maybe next time, honey. Maybe next time.
I'll be like John Wayne.
Yeah, you'd be like John Wayne too, huh? And then, well, here we go. So then I had some that have green on the outside, and I have some that have lots of tails to weave in still. Green on the inside. So this would be a very nice manly blanket. That coffee is steaming. How long did he put that in the microwave? I don't know. He made us a new sign, which was super sweet of him. And I actually know what episode that we're on because I looked before I sat down to record. So this, I know, has been in the works for probably a year and a half, 2 years. What happened was I knew I was going to run out of the woodsy, and I was not going to have enough. 67-inch squares would just not be enough. And that's what I had done, was 60. And I knew I was going to run out of the woodsy, and my big box store quit carrying it. The nearest craft store to me is a Hobby Lobby, and they do not carry the Red Heart Super Saver. Joann's and Michael's are over an hour away for us, either in Fort Smith or Little Rock, and we never go to Little Rock. So could have went online to Red Heart and ordered some more yarn. Yes, I could. Did I? Because it's more expensive, and I just don't like to go order stuff online. We shop a little bit from Amazon, but not a lot, but some every now and then, just not tons. So Anna dug through her stash, and she thought maybe she might have a skein of it, and she did not. And I got discouraged, and I set it down, and it moved into this house when we moved in this basket. I set it on a shelf, and I forgot about it. Or I didn't really forget about it. I was discouraged. So what was I going to do? Well, now I've decided I'm either going to finish my whips or I'm going to pull them out, because it's ridiculous to have so many things going on at once. So this week, I grabbed what I had, and I made all the squares I could make out of what I had left. I made another 40 squares total. So now I have 100 squares. 100 squares should be enough. But to get to the 100, I had to pull out this yarn, which it still needs the brown around the edge. I'm finishing them up, which is I love this yarn in toasted almond. And we're going to have to figure out how to lay them out to where we can incorporate this light toasted almond, which I have 18 of those squares. And I might have to make maybe some solid green ones, because I still have some solid green yarn. And then get it put together. So that's on the agenda. I've been working pretty hard on that this week. So in that, I have these 2 skeins of Red Heart Super Saver in the color coffee. They even have the same Afghan on the label. One of them was made before Yarnspirations took over, and one of them after. They're different. They're a slightly different color. Not much. And of course, this says, no dye lot. But can you tell that they're a different color? They feel so different. when you're working with them. This is the newer one. Can you see how thin that is? And it feels like Care-On Simply Soft. And it kind of splits like Care-On Simply Soft. And this is the older one. Can you see the difference? I can sure tell the difference. I'm going to tell you that I prefer this one over this one. And I was trying to use this one, and my squares are a little smaller even. I had to pull it out and redo it with this one. So this one goes into the works in progress. This one is going right here on this shelf. Ooh, I don't know. Okay. So the other thing I did this week was, do y'all remember my marled mandala that I had bunches of this mandala cakes that I bought because I was drawn to the colors? My cup says enjoy the ride and has a bicycle. I love it. I think Jerry got this at the Dollar Tree, but it really makes me smile every time I pick it up. And I had made all of these granny squares holding just grabbing 2 cakes and crocheting, so you get this marled effect. Because I was not a real fan of the lightweight 3 yarn that mandala is. So I held 2 together. Anyway, y'all have seen these, and I've been working on these for a long time. Well, I crocheted the squares, and then they went into a basket, and I had over 100 squares done. I had 97 squares done. So I had to do 3 more squares to get to 100, which seems to be my number. I like 100 squares in a blanket. So I started putting them together yesterday, and I am using a Caron 1 pound in the color black to put them together, and I'm doing the join as you go. I watched a tutorial from Bella Coco. And this is what I worked on yesterday, and that's all I got done. But I think it's just really pretty. And I normally wouldn't choose a black because I have a hard time seeing it. But this is going to be fantastic. I told my husband I liked it so much. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to give it away at Christmas time. And he said, well, don't. We'll put it on the couch. Which we have a fuzzy blanket on the couch now. I don't even have a napkin on my couch. So we'll see. And that's about all I've worked on all week. I worked on Monday and came home and sat in my chair, and we binge watched Yellowstone, and I didn't even pick up a knitting needle or a crochet hook or anything. I just sat there, and I never ever do that. But sometimes that you just don't have brain space for anything else. So we binge watched all of Yellowstone in like 3 days, maybe 4. Probably 4. It was fantastic. We loved it, and now it's over. And why are we binge watching television like that? Our satellite has been out for over a week, and that may be good for my mental health. There's been no news in the house for a week. So it's kind of refreshing. They came yesterday to fix the satellite and said it had been hit by lightning and that all of our equipment was bad and that we would have to upgrade and sign another contract for another 2 years. And I don't know if that's really the best idea. I mean, it's $100 a month to have satellite, and we already pay for internet, and I don't know. Decisions. They're tough. Life's tough. Life seems tougher now than it ever has before. But that's okay. We're all still here, and we have each other. I love magazines. Can you get me to pay for a pattern off of Ravelry? Probably not. I mean, it has to be something that I just cannot live without for me to pay for a pattern. I might have 3 or 4 paid for patterns in my library. Not very many. Am I a sucker for a magazine? Yes. Yes, I am. I love them. It's the shiny pages and the beautiful photos. And I just feel so fancy. I don't know. So, last night we had steak for dinner last night. Steak and corn on the cob and baked beans and dinner rolls. And that's a really rare treat in this household. We probably, number one, Jerry's not a fan. He doesn't like steak. It's not one of his favorite things ever. He has never went out to eat and ordered a steak. Never. Chicken fried steak, yeah, he'll get that. But a piece of steak, no. Not for him. So it's a very rare thing. Maybe once or twice a year we cook a steak at home. So my 11-year-old Landon, last night we're having steak. And he's like, oh, we're like fancy people. And it tickled my soul. It was just really cute. So when I cooked breakfast this morning, we had some leftover steak. And I was like, do you want steak and eggs or do you want sausage and eggs? And he's like, oh, I'll take the steak and I'll be fancy people 2 times in a row. And I was like, yes, you will be fancy people 2 times in a row. So that was hilarious and brought a smile to my face. And I guess that's really all I have this week. I am going to continue on with the 2 Afghans and hopefully have something more to show you next week. Maybe one of them will be hanging behind us and I'll be able to show it off. And I never think about how I'm going to lay out a granny square Afghan until I have the squares done. And then I'm like, okay, we have X amount of this kind and X amount of this kind and X amount of this kind. And then my dear husband has the chore of laying it out to where it looks like something. He laid out all the marbled mandala so the colors aren't too touching one another and that kind of thing. So I have it in stacks ready to go. And I need to put some brown around some of these squares. Still need brown around them. And then it'll be ready to lay out. And I'm going to slip stitch this one together instead of doing the join as you go because I'd already put the brown around them. Anyway, until next time, stay safe out there. Wear your mask. That's all we can do. And keep your needles clicking. Bye, guys.